31 per meters. My fiancée, 30 flashed her breasts at her best friend's groom. Me and my fiancée lived together and have been a couple for the past 3 years. We got engaged over the summer with the aim of getting married late next year. The first thing my exes knew about me is I'm a private person who sets clear boundaries when he gets into a relationship. I don't tolerate cheating of any sort and will cut someone off immediately for it. This situation seems a bit more complex than that, so I thought I'd seek some advice. My fiancée is part of a wedding party for her best friend and they did some sort of pre-wedding photoshoot last weekend. I'll try my best to explain the photo in question. On one side, the bridesmaids 5 are lined up with their back to the camera, and on the other side, the groom is standing facing them on an angle. The bridesmaids have their tops pulled up in a flashing pose and he has a shocked look on his face. Despite this photo being taken last weekend, I wasn't aware of it until it was posted on Facebook a few days ago. I don't use Facebook much and it took a friend actually tagging me in the comments to see it. When I spoke to my fiancée later that day, I asked how the photo was taken. She played it off as nothing. I genuinely thought there was Photoshop used or the girls were using some nude-colored tube top or something. Turns out no, they actually all flashed their breasts at the groom. When I get angry, I tend to go quiet and it actually took me about 15 minutes to process what had happened, during which time she went from, "Haha, it's funny right?" to, "It's not that big of a deal," to, "Are you serious? You're mad." When she realized that wasn't working, she switched to, "I didn't want to do it really, but the other girls were all doing it and it would have been weird." Then she added that she'd had a few drinks and the bride asked her to do it with the others as a favor. Here's the deal, the other girls aren't in serious relationships except for one and I don't know her or her partner, so I have no idea their boundaries. I only know mine, and I feel like mine was crossed. Listen, I can be hard-headed about things and stubborn, but I'm not wrong here, right? Like, this is fucked up. I can't imagine any of my female friends doing this, or my sisters. To make it worse, she didn't even tell me. If she'd came home that night and at least gave me a heads up, I could have prepared myself somewhat. But to be blindsided on Facebook and it taking one of my friends tagging me is ridiculous. Of course, according to her, she didn't because she didn't think it was that big of a deal. She was planning on spending this weekend with her parents, so she's there right now, which will give us some space. I'm really not happy about this, and her response hasn't made it better. She's told her friends about my reaction, so today I received a bunch of texts ranging from them calling me stupid to trying to talk sense into me. But remember the one other serious couple? I received a Facebook MSG from the guy who told me he broke up with his girlfriend over it. He was also tagged in the comments, which apparently meant his whole family on Facebook saw it too and they were furious. My fiancée found out about this and I can tell she's in hysterics because she thinks I'm going to do the same. She's been trying to call me all night and has said she's coming home early tomorrow morning to talk. If you had have told me something like this was going to happen, I'd never have believed you. She's the last person I would expect this from. Our 3 years together have been really great and I'm honestly feeling a bit shell-shocked here. Part of me wants to move past this, but the other part is disgusted by it and I feel disrespected. I would never have disrespected her like this. Also, and I'm rambling at this point because it's late, but it's not even a clever photo. Like, to me it's fucking dumb and trashy. The fact that she agreed to take part in it seriously makes me question her character. Like, what else could she be coerced into? Whatever. Is this a stupid mistake we can get past or a massive red flag I should be heeding before marriage? Too long did not read. Fiancée took part in a pre-wed photoshoot for another couple and with friends flashed her breasts at the groom. Oof, this is tough. My boyfriend told me that cheating is anything you wouldn't feel comfortable doing if I was in the room, and I honestly feel if you had been there she wouldn't have done it because she'd have known it was wrong. She is downplaying because deep down she knows it's wrong. She needs to have a sincere apology before taking you back. Because if you showed another woman your peen, I doubt she'd think it was cute and funny. I don't think it's just the flashing itself but her attitude after. She didn't even seem like she was sorry about it and tried playing it off and minimizing it. Also, what kind of friends are those? They sound like the kind of trashy party girls who do unspeakable stuff in bachelorette parties. Only way I'd even consider reconciliation is if she either distances herself or cuts contact with those friends. Imagine that, because of that bride's need for such a trashy picture, She ends up being the source of breakup for one and if not, two relationships. Over an absolutely stupid idea of a photo. Could things get any more ridiculous here? Damn. And tough call, man. Tough call. But damn. And that other couple's marriage I doubt will last even 2 years. You're entitled to your boundaries. If you believe they have been crossed, then break up with her. I would not be okay with this situation either. A fleet of location flag, coming your way. Her friends can get her to do whatever they want. Have some self-respect, and run. Don't look back. I think you guys need to have a talk about where your line is. Personally, I don't think flashing your boobs for a silly picture is wrong. It's kinda trashy, but I'm not here to judge the bride and groom on what they want their wedding to be. If your girlfriend was uncomfortable, she should have said no, but I can see that she might have been more uncomfortable saying no than just playing along. Having said this, you do have a serious issue here. You guys aren't on the same page with boundaries. If you want to marry her, you need to set very clear expectations about what is cheating to you, and she needs to do the same. If she crosses those boundaries after you've had the talk, then it's cheating. I'd be including emotional boundaries too personally. This is a breakdown of communication and personalities. It's really what you want to tolerate. Obviously you guys are different in boundaries and issues like this. Ultimately it's up to you, because even though she probably won't do something like this again, it reveals her type of character to another degree. If you can't see yourself with that type of person forever, then you have your answer. We all deserve someone who we believe we deserve, no more no less. Trashy. Look at all the women coming here to instantly defending your girlfriend saying, boobs are boobs, like WTF. What has that gotta do with his girlfriend lying and not telling him about this particular incident and him finding out through Facebook? Trust was broken, and that is the only issue here. Don't try to make it about yourselves and change the reason for the problem. You're perfectly in your right to get upset, and you should be angry. Try to imagine if the roles were reversed. Honestly, it is just a little bump in your relationship and you can overcome it, but that trust has to be regained. You can decide what to have, whatever boundaries you want to. To me personally, it wouldn't bother me in the least, and I'm surprised it's bothering you and so many other commenters so much to throw away an otherwise great 3-year relationship. Personally, the act alone would have made me question this. Then it became a public spectacle which makes you look kind of like a bitch, which is even worse. Then her reactions were manipulative via acting like your feelings are ridiculous. Then she told her friends about you being upset and they started contacting you? I feel like at first it was pretty bad but not necessarily catastrophic, but it then just kept getting worse and worse. There's too much disrespect, and apparently all of it is public. I think it is a bit of an overreaction. People have very different views of nudity, and it's not always a huge deal to see someone's breasts. Of course, it would have been nice if she had told you and been more apologetic. I think considering that she was asked to do this by her friend, the bride, and that the man in question, the groom, is clearly committed to the bride, it's not an attempt to cheat. At most it is disrespectful to you, but again, people have different views of how private nudity has to be. You are right to be upset. According to me, the biggest problem here is that she knew this was something you'd be upset about, yet she still did it. She tried to play it off cool, pretending not to realize it, then when it didn't work, changed tactics. She actually tried to make you the crazy person. She didn't respect the relationship, nor you. So my advice is that this is a massive red flag. Good luck, scissor. Cheating. Nah. Really fucking dumb and trashy as hell, especially since it's on Facebook. Yes. You don't own your wife's breasts, so if she want to flash her boobs to the whole damn world, she can. But if that makes you feel like shit and despise her for doing so, it's your right to say something about it, or if it's a real dealbreaker, to break up, of course. Dump her and find a girl who will respect you and not try to make excuses for such trashy behavior. You've got to think about intent, and in this case it is very clear that her only intention was to help her friend get the funny photo shoot she wanted. She clearly didn't realize you'd mind, so it's not fair to condemn her for crossing a boundary that she wasn't aware of. I doubt she'd do it again now that she knows, as it sounds as though she cared very much that you were upset about it. If it matters so much to you, just be sure to more clearly convey your boundaries in future. Edit. The guy who broke up with his girlfriend over it sounds so extreme. No way, I wouldn't tolerate this. Maybe because my girlfriend and I are Japanese, so our cultural boundaries on modesty are different, but this doesn't sound like something someone in an exclusive relationship would do. And if she was really peer pressured, it means she has a weak core and couldn't really say no. This might turn into an issue down the line. I wouldn't say break up, but make sure you have a proper conversation on what both your boundaries are. Immature and dumb. Break up. Pack it up bro, shit's over. Yeah nah mate, I wouldn't want my girlfriend flashing to someone else, or stay with such a girl. Is this a cultural thing maybe? I'm shocked at how this could possibly be a big deal. I wanna bet Op runs around shirtless all the time, and nobody is breaking up with him because of it. Any update would be appreciated. Good luck. It looked like she is immature to marry. Marriage should be with mature-minded PPL, and she's weak to peer pressure. I'd expect this from a wide-eyed 20-yo, not 30. Peer pressure is strong, and there are a lot who are weak to it. To answer question, no, you're not wrong to feel put out, and you have to do some thinking. If she's really great enough and she promises not to do it again sincerely, I wouldn't suggest you break up over this. She did it as part of a peer pressure thing and sounds like she is taking your concern seriously, but perhaps tell her to stop discussing your private reactions with her friends. Married life will bring bigger challenges than this. She told you it's not a big deal. She may be flashing her tits around on every opportunity, that's why it's no big deal. And she didn't bother to tell you because you are not a big deal. Save whatever dignity you have left and dump her before she sleeps with someone else and tell you it's not a big deal and ask her friends to call you stupid. You have every right to be upset. You just kinda gotta ask yourself, can you get over this, or is it worth ending the relationship? That's really what it boils down to. I personally would take time to think about it and be rational, not just react off first emotion. I would not be okay with this happening, and I definitely would be upset and would most likely be looking to end the relationship because of what happened and the way you said she reacted. Just seems really reckless and inconsiderate of you. But to each their own. I hope all works out. I feel bad for her because I'm sure she got peer pressured, but she is a grown woman, and if this crosses a line for you, then it is okay to break up over this. I'm not pulling my dick out no matter what the boys are saying. She lacks class. In fact, all her friends seem quite low-brow. Did you really want to be associated with these people? How can she not tell you something important like this? Maybe hey babe, guess what I did today? I flashed my tits in front of other men today, but she didn't because she wanted to hide it from you. Don't mix with that shit. Kick her back to where she belongs. That's one weird-ass photo shoot. It's 100% a deal breaker. She very well knew it was crossing the line, which is why she intentionally hid it. I wonder how many lines she can overlook and play it off as, didn't think it was a big deal. You should take a good hard look at your relationship. I wouldn't date someone that poses like that regardless of wedding or Instagram or whatever. Things like that shouldn't be on the social media that family can see, but that's just for me, I guess. It's about respect, bro. Let's say you forgive her and you get married. Later on during office party you bring your wife there and your colleagues and bosses recognize your wife from that picture. It can hinder your image and career, you know. I suggest you left her to prevent future trouble. If you consider staying in a relationship, I would 100% say couples therapy. This situation is difficult, and since your fiancé is acting so strangely towards it, some outside help might be needed. The picture idea itself is already super weird, like what bride would want her groom to see all her best friend's breasts? And if it was just a joke, why not wear something underneath? It's weird that your fiancé took part in it, and even weirder that she didn't tell you about it. This is not a normal thing and not a normal photo idea. If this makes you this uncomfortable, you are well within your rights to break up with her. The fact that she told her friends about your argument is also another thing I'd be pissed about. What else does she tell them about you? She fucked up majorly in my opinion, and if I were you I would probably ask her to stay with her parents for a week or two so you can have some time to properly think about the situation. After a week of being away from each other, invite her over and talk about how you feel and if you want to stay in the relationship or not. You're not wrong at all. Yours is how it starts with the cheating. They do little things to normalize it. If anything goes as mental and emotional abuse, and gaslighting on top. This kind of person is not trustworthy. Imagine how mad she would be if you sent dick pics to her best friend. Her and all her friends would get together to figure out a plan to dump you. The fact that she hid it from you, knowing you have boundaries, it's a huge red flag in itself. If a bunch of dudes had shown their nipples to a bride, would it have been as shocking? Some people are just more open with this kind of thing. I don't think it's that big a deal. Obviously a boundary was crossed, but unless this specific boundary was established beforehand, then I don't see any reason to break up over it. Discuss it, establish and come to an agreement on where exactly the boundary lies and move on. Grow together and trust that it won't happen again and move forward with your now stronger relationship. Would you be angry if she went topless on a beach without you there? They are just boobs, man. If you are secure in your relationship, I don't see the big deal. I've been with my husband 13 years. If he left me because I flashed my boobs, I don't think it would say very much about our relationship. Also, flashing boobs is not cheating. Sorry, that is incomparable. How you feel over it, betrayal of your values, is one thing, but it is not cheating. She would not have been comfortable doing that if you were in the room with her. Not only was the act itself very disrespectful, "Oh, I'm just gonna flash my boobs to another guy. Shouldn't be an issue for my partner," but she really downplayed it and thought it wasn't a big deal, then tried turning it on you by saying, "Are you serious?" as if you're the bad guy. Seems like a small thing to lose a 3-year relationship over. I'd feel worse about that. I think that you need to have another sincere conversation about your boundaries and how important they are to you. To me, this seems like it could be something that she sincerely regrets, but you have to judge that for yourself and use that information how you feel is the right way to do it. If it seems out of character, then it's probably a one-time thing. They are just breasts. In Spain, women walk around the beaches topless. It's not really an issue, unless you make it one. Free the nipple. What's she gonna do at her bachelorette party when she has a few drinks, with all the girls around pressuring her? Save yourself the heartbreak. I'd consider flashing cheating. If not just the fact of the photo and not even asking if you'd be comfortable or okay with something like that, which, let's be real, she had plenty of time to ask about or to just not partake. It's the gaslighting, excuses, and harassment for me. Seriously, you're going to pull the "it's not a big deal." Really? You're mad. Which just shows me that she doesn't give two shits you're upset. She could have easily just said sorry. And then having her friends harass you cause you're upset. That's gross. Then only wanting to talk out the situation when she thinks her relationship is on the line. Like there is so much wrong here, it looks like my car's dashboard. What you decide to do is up to you, but I would be having none of that. Yeah, she was a hoe. Faux show. Only way back now is for the bride to flash you her tits. Only fair game. But seriously, yeah, tough one. I would be pissed, but my wife knows that would have set me off and totally not done it. But if she was peered pressure into it, it is forgivable. All depends if you can look past it, or will another guy haven't seen your fiance's tits eat at you forever. Why would the groom even want this in front of his bride to be? Like, what? Depends on if she is actually sorry about it and makes a genuine effort to convince you she will be better. This would end the relationship for me. Blatant lying to your face. I don't know how you could trust her again. From her reaction, she'll just hide it better next time instead of not doing it. Look, plenty of people have given you good reasonings, but I am just going to tell you, dump her. Sadly, this type of photo has become part of the trashy wedding photo shoot package. There's one where all the women pull up their skirts and show off matching thongs, including the bride. I can understand her bowing to peer pressure, especially because it seems like she doesn't share your feelings about this being cheating. You could give her another chance. Since she hasn't done anything like this before, now you have a big talk about boundaries. Don't leave out any scenario, paid phone sex, everything. Be sure you have an agreement. If it means you extend the engagement so that your trust grows back, so be it.